John chapter 9, verse 13 through 34. They brought to the Pharisees the man who had been blind. The day Jesus made the mud and opened the man's eyes was a Sabbath day. So the Pharisees also asked him how he was able to see. "Put mud on my eyes," the man replied. "Then I wash, and now I can see." Some of the Pharisees said Jesus has not come from God, he does not keep the Sabbath day. But others asked, "How can a sinner do such signs?" So the Pharisees did not agree with one another. Then they turned again to the blind man. "What do you have to say about him?" they asked. "Was your eyes he opened?" The man replied, "He is a prophet." They still did not believe that the man had been blind and now could see. So they sent for his parents. "Is this your son?" they asked. "Is this the one you say was born blind? How is it that now he can see?" "We know he is our son," the parents answered. "And we know he was born blind. But we don't know how he can now see. And we don't know who opened his eyes. Ask him. He's an adult. He can speak for himself." His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders. The leaders had also already made the decision about Jesus. Anyone who said Jesus was the Messiah would be put out of the synagogue. That was why the man's parents said, "He's an adult, ask him." Again the Pharisees called the man who had been blind to come to them. "Give glory to God by telling the truth," they said. "We know that the man who healed you is a sinner." He replied, "I don't know if he's a sinner or not. I do know one thing, I was blind but now I can see." Then they asked him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" He answered, "I have already told you, but you didn't listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too?" Then they began to attack him with their words. "You are this fellow's disciple," they said. "We are disciples of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses, but we don't even know where this fellow comes from." The man answered, "This is really surprising. You don't know where he comes from, and yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners. He listens to the godly person who does what he wants them to do. Nobody has ever heard of anyone opening the eyes of a person born blind. Yet this man had not come from God, he could do nothing." Then the Pharisees replied, "When you were born, you were already deep in sin. How dare you talk like that to us?" And they threw him out of the synagogue.